Hi, I'm Sat E. Niangi and welcome to Wrestling News. Our top story today is, I'm sorry to say, it just has to be CM Punk's ESPN interview with Mike Raimondi, doesn't it?
CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk.
CM Punk indeed. Punk, of course, discussed his impending return, Collision, his injury, etc. But the real meat on the bones was his comment on the all-out media scrum and the Elite. Punk admitted regret over his actions at the media scrum, reiterating that it stemmed from him being frustrated at the time, as well as knowing by then that he's once again injured. Despite seeming likely at points, Punk revealed that he himself never had serious intentions of leaving AEW and has apologized to Khan for his actions at the press conference, now saying that the two have a great relationship. While unable to go into details for legal reasons, Punk revealed that he had attempted to reach out to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but was only met by responses from what he assumed was their legal team. Punk spoke of how he and the Elite once had a decent relationship, but that of course changed after Hangman Page's promo ahead of Double or Nothing 2022. Punk reiterated that Page's comments referring to workers' rights and such were not agreed upon beforehand, which led to Punk confronting Page afterwards. According to Punk, Page said the comments were due to his belief that Punk had tried to get Colt Cabana fired from AEW, something he once again denied in this interview. As for his Double or Nothing match itself, Punk revealed that he had concerns that Page may intentionally hurt him, leading him to put his guard up throughout and having what he described as a garbage match. Tempest, was the match garbage to you?
I thought it was alright.
Listen, a couple of botched buckshot lariat does not make the match crap, okay? Punk said the entire situation with Page poisoned everything for him, whilst interestingly noting that ain't been done about it. Punk closed by playing down the entire brawl-out fiasco with the Elite, stating that it's been exasperated due partly to his lengthy injury layoff and people spreading lies. Now, as far as the reaction within AEW, according to Fightful Select, many in the company feel the interview didn't seem nearly as bad as indicated. However, that may only be in accordance to what made it out to the public. As according to Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez, there was a lot said in this interview that did not end up in print, and that the stuff that was edited out made people angry backstage in AEW. While it's unclear what exactly was taken out, Dave Meltzer wrote in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that AEW had hoped that Punk's comment on Page would not make it into article, and with an attempt at damage control, damage control, yeah, made by AEW, and with an attempt at damage control made by AEW before the piece was published. Now, Raimondi noted in the piece that Page was reached out to potentially tell his side of Punk's comments, but was unavailable for comment. Yet, one man that legally can't say anything related to the all-out, brawl-out, fallout has potentially weighed in a discreet manner. In an Instagram story post, Jackson seemed to send a timely defense of Page's character, saying, "Not only is he a great wrestler, but he's an even greater human being." Lastly, according to the ESPN interview, Punk was told that a future Punk versus Elite angle won't be happening. However, according to Fightful Select, that's not stopping people on Punk's side hoping for the entire Elite saga will culminate on TV. So perhaps we will eventually get some closure via some old-fashioned pro wrestling. Just enough drama now, please. Next up, we have the great, the undisputed. There's only one man that is your Jam Dad Championship champion. Tempest, come and tell these people what it's all about. Look at this sharp man. Look at this sharp man. Handshake. No bum squeeze today, unfortunately. Actually, squeeze it. Squeeze it! Who gives a crap? Yes! And the screen goes black, and I go off, and I laugh like an evil maniac.
Hello, I'm Tempest, and this is Rampage, baby. 1 minute on the clock, Sat. Let's get it. The United Empire beat Chaos in a fantastic trios match to start off the show, and this week, we got the good side of the Rampage coin, it seems. Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, Aubrey Edwards, the stars were out tonight. Fast forward, Taya Valkyrie quickly beat Trish Adora with a curb stomp. I guess she lost the road to Valhalla in the Jade feud. The Hardys cut a promo on the Guns, and Jeff Hardy was wearing a Shad Gaspard shirt. Mad respect. Mark Briscoe, Aubrey Edwards, and the most over person on the whole show, Papa Briscoe, took on the Jarretts and Jay Lethal, and boy did this ever get over with the crowd. Aubrey hit Lethal with a guitar and made Karen tap out to the figure 4. I don't care, I was a fan. Konosuke Takeshita beat Bandito in the main event, and if you were to ask me what sort of matches make me really happy to see in AEW, it would be matches like this. This is the perfect kind of Rampage main event, and I would very much like to see more of them. Please and thank you.
Oh my gosh, he did it! He did it! He did it! Oh yeah, less than a minute. Here's your new king, your Jab That champion, Tempest!
I remember to change them to blue this time. Onward we go to SmackDown. We kick off SmackDown with the tag team gauntlet match to determine #1 contenders for the tag team titles. And right off the bat, I will tell you there are two kinds of gauntlet matches. The kind that go like an hour and are really fun, and the kind that pin your entire tag division in under 15 minutes. This one was in the latter camp. Sheamus and Ridge Holland managed to beat 4 teams, usually very easily. First the Street Profits, then the OC, then the LWO, and then Hit Row basically immediately before falling to Pretty Deadly. Woo! Snack ass. It makes sense. English boys challenging for the titles in London. I gotcha. After the match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ran Pretty Deadly out of the ring, and I bet they will have a good match together. Roman Reigns is backstage, and Paul Heyman asks if he has spoken to Jay. Roman says that he is still the tribal chief, and that means Jay needs to come talk to him, and he tells Paul to go find Jay. Io Sky took on Zelina Vega, and they did an inset promo where Zelina once again said that everyone is underestimating her. At what point is she just being estimated? This was a short match as Io rolled Zelina up, but Bayley had the referee distracted, and Io got upset at Bayley, and Zelina hit the 619 for the win. After the match, Bayley and Io were arguing backstage, and Shotzi walked in talking about how Bayley cost her spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match and challenged Bayley to a match for her spot, which Io accepted. Bianca Belair is upset with Adam Pearce backstage, and then we got the Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte Flair. I think we have moved past the need for heel talk show segments. He asks if Charlotte is going to win. She says she has Asuka's number. They do some stuff with the woo, and finally Bianca Belair comes out to interrupt and save this segment. Now Charlotte and Bianca go back and forth as Bianca says she wanted to get her rematch the right way, but then Charlotte cut in line. Charlotte says she doesn't politic to get the rules changed. The line just starts and ends with her. She says she is the champion with or without the title, but asks if that's the case for Bianca, who says she's the longest reigning champion of the modern age, so put some respect on her name. Bianca says she didn't leave when she lost her title like Charlotte did, and Charlotte says she lost her title to Rhea and also didn't get a rematch. That's a different title, stupid! Bianca says she'll be at ringside for Charlotte's title match with Asuka. I smell a triple threat at the pay-per-view. Jey Uso and Paul Heyman both give half-assed apologies to one another backstage as Paul apologized for being right that Jimmy would cost him everything like he did last week, and Jey apologized for Paul still being on the outs if Jey stays in the bloodline. Karrion Kross and Scarlett beat AJ Styles and Michin. What can I say at this point? Styles hit the Styles Clash, and Scarlett broke up the pin, so Michin pulled her out of the ring, and Kross hit a new finish, which was something like a pump handle slam F5 type thing. Why is AJ Styles losing to Karrion Kross? Why, Sat?
TikTok!
Paul Heyman walks into Roman Reigns' locker room and says no, and Solo moves and Heyman squeals. Cameron Grimes is about to be interviewed backstage and he gets attacked by Baron Corbin. This feud is so lazy, I can't handle it, Sat! Rey Mysterio comes out and says reforming the LWO is the accomplishment he's most proud of, and welcomes Santos Escobar, the son that he chose, who says he is going to win Money in the Bank for Rey Mysterio, his family, his people, and anyone in the WWE universe who has a dream. He's interrupted by LA Knight, who comes out for their match and loses as he tried to once again roll up his opponent and grab the ropes, but Santos rolled through and got the pin. After the match, Knight attacked Santos before Rey ran him off, and then we got our main event segment. Jey Uso walks past Sami Zayn backstage and they just share a look. The Roman Reigns came out and Jey Uso soon followed, and Jey asked if it was going to be him or Paul, and Roman says Jey has it twisted. He says Heyman isn't the Bloodline's wise man, he's his wise man. And when Jey is the tribal chief, he can choose his own wise man. Jimmy comes out, and this is where the segment really gets going. Jimmy said that Roman is the problem, but Roman said it was Jimmy holding Jay back. He said it took 10 years for them to make it on WrestleMania, and now they're main eventing. He said when they named Jay the right-hand man, that was the wise man's idea, and who was the only one to have a problem with it? Jimmy. Jay's demeanor turns and he starts questioning Jimmy, asking if this is true, and Jimmy says yes. And he tells Jimmy that he's out. And that he's out too, and Jay super kicks Roman! It happened! It happened! It happened! Unbelievable scenes. The Usos together super kick Roman and Solo as the show ends. My word. It feels kind of wild that the biggest possible moment in this storyline happened on an episode of SmackDown as opposed to a huge pay-per-view like the Sammy and Jimmy turns, but a huge moment nonetheless. Overall, SmackDown was really a one-segment show, but what a segment. This SmackDown is going to get a 4 out of 5 for that segment alone. And that just about wraps things up from me. Make sure, of course, that you check out the latest episode of 3 Count here on WrestleTalk. Here's a clip.
Mid-match commentary.
He's in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
I know, but he can do...
I
he can-
see.
I'm thinking Mick Foley. I'm thinking King of the Mountain.
It wasn't King of the Mountain, it was the...
It was one of them.
It was the
It was the ultimate
sacrifice match.
sacrifice match.